Well, remember last week we were among the first to tell you a story of a U.S. submarine that mysteriously crashed underwater in the South China Sea? Well, tonight we are learning what may have contributed to this crash. Apparently, the U.S. Navy is conducting oceanographic surveys in the region. Beginning back in late September, we understand, military experts have been collecting underwater geological and hydrological data to support any eventual submarine warfare in the region of the South China Sea. Who knew, huh? Saurabh Gupta, Asian geopolitics and policy specialist with decades of experience, is good enough to join us now. What do you make of this? That maybe this crash last week, this U.S. submarine, the nuclear submarine, by the way, I should add that crashed, may not have just been a strange coincidence. It may have had a lot to do with what's been going on there since the middle of September, we now learn.
Oh, absolutely. You know, that's becoming a very crowded battle space, frankly, the South China Sea, and just inside the first island chain of China. And not just that, we've heard a lot of submarine-related stories in this just in the past 10, 15, or 2 weeks. So one can imagine this is grounds, the battle space is being measured minutely with regard to potential submarine warfare at a future date. And both parties are doing what they need to do. The Chinese are doing at their side, the West is doing at its side in trying to gauge what its responses will be.
I know you're an expert in geopolitics, not necessarily geology or geography or underwater oceanography, but I know you know this region, and it's kind of a little bit of a strange region in and of itself, because there's a lot of shoals in the South China Seas. There's very deep water, but there's also very shallow water. It's filled with reefs. It's a complex area. I would imagine that whoever wants to get supremacy of these waters would need to really understand these waters, and it's probably not easy to understand, which makes sense why the United States is trying to prepare itself for the eventuality, should it come, hopefully it never does, of some kind of submarine warfare, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely correct about, you know, the South China Sea. I mean, through ages, it's not just about military vessels. Even for fishermen, it's been it's been a difficult maritime environment for them because of the various shoals, reefs, etc. And many of them have names which are kind of dreaded names that don't go near that shoal because your vessel will be capsized. But there is another important dimension out here. China has its nuclear submarines are based. One of its most important bases are in Hainan Island, which is in the South China Sea neighborhood. It's called the Yulin base. It's Sanya. It's essentially the Pearl Harbor of China, and in that and China feels the need that in that region it needs to have what it calls a bastion strategy, that nobody else is allowed to have dominance out there, so that their subs, which are essential part of their assured second strike nuclear retaliatory capability, will survive and cannot be detected. And therefore, from the Chinese end, there's a great emphasis of ensuring that they remain undetectable out there. And therefore, from the West perspective, it becomes that much more important to also understand this battle space and understand where China's subs are moving around out there. And that's why this also connects to a story you had done sometime back within the last month or two with regard to China increasing its land missile nuclear strike capability. You know, the missile silos and all in the Gobi Desert.
Yeah.
It all gets tied in. This is second strike assured retaliatory capability to maintain nuclear deterrence, and each person doing their little thing to ensure that they have the leg up in this regard.
Saurabh Gupta, Asian geopolitics policy specialist. Thanks so much. Appreciate the wisdom.
You're most welcome.